We're going to go ahead and start the show with a big emphatic welcome to the Checkpoint Church podcast. This is a show that helps nerds, geeks, and gamers feel seen, connected, and spiritually supported because you don't have to explore faith and fandom alone. Today, we are going to be talking about the ESA putting out their Power of Play report. We are going to be talking about Next Fest. We're going to be talking about our own experiences with demo games. And then, of course, answering the fated question, how did you checkpoint this week? Be thinking about it right now to get your best answer in at the end of the show. I am Nerd Pastor Nate. I'm a real life pastor, real life nerd, a real life pastor who finds Jesus in my favorite fandoms. And we are Checkpoint Church, a real life church for nerds, geeks, and gamers. This podcast is the space where we are tying together the folks who make Checkpoint Church what it is. From Discord to YouTube and everything in between, we want you to be a part of the show. Keep on weighing in, hanging out with us over in the chat. And we're going to start with our favorite question, which is, what have you been watching, playing, and reading? And we are going to start with Lizzie. What you been watching, playing, and reading?
Starting with me, watching. I should have had this ready. I haven't really been watching much other than YouTube videos. I've been wanting to watch Wicked again recently as it's getting closer to coming out. So maybe that'll be on the docket. Playing. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch 2 recently. A lot of my friends are real into it. I used to play Overwatch back in the day. I was a Mercy main. Now I'm branching out, so that's been fun. And then I've also been playing Power Washer Simulator and Cook Serve Delicious 3.
Nice.
I think those are my main ones. And I have been reading absolutely nothing. So that's my watch, play, read.
I was never good enough at Overwatch to have even a main. Like I was always just like, I'll play as whoever I'll play as, and the team will hold me up, and I will be their like painful fifth member.
Yes, that was me with Mercy, essentially. I just loved Mercy so much. Now I've been playing with Moira and Junkrat and May, and even a couple of tanks. It's been interesting. And what YouTube channel? Listen, I watch a lot of Smosh, and I feel like that's sometimes, I don't know. But I watch a lot of Smosh and Brittany Broski and just things like that, I guess. Different podcasts.
I feel like 99% of Smosh I consume through clips. Like, I don't know if I've ever actually like sat and watched a whole episode of anything they've done, but I have experienced a whole episode through the amount of clips that I've found on TikTok.
I enjoy watching them play board games a lot. It's like they obviously play it up, but it's pretty funny just seeing how crazy they can get.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Wizen, what have you been watching, playing, and reading?
So my most recent watching, watch through is Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And then my roommates and I also watched K-pop Demon Hunter last night, nice. Which was really fun. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Just because that's not really like my genre of thing of like music or show or anything like that, but it was really good. I liked it. I've been playing this game called Little Rocket Lab that's like kind of like Stardew, but you build like automated factory puzzles basically. Like you have to deliver like 800 winches, not that kind of winch, like to the observatory or something like that. You have to figure out how to get 800 steel cables and motors up there to make the things and like that kind of thing. It's really interesting. And then today I finished a book called This Here Flesh by Cole Arthur Riley, which is a book for the 2-year Academy for Spiritual Formation that I'm going to be starting in November. And this book just made me weep. The chapter on joy this morning was an interesting, like it struck a chord, but in a very like sorrowful way. And so it was really interesting, and it just made me weep. And so I've been a little weepy all day because of that. But I've also been on baby duty, so I've been listening to a lot of Dinosaur Train on PBS. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's always a fun way to be. I love whenever I find a book like that, especially a book, because I find that sometimes I read them in such short segmented chunks that I find it difficult to like latch on to anything too emotively. Like books are good for, I think, like a quick scare, but it always is interesting to see if they can really make me feel. So, yeah,
I feel like
that's
those are
good.
the only books I can read, are ones that
Really?
make me feel. Mhm.
Yeah. I guess I skew the system by reading too many books. Maybe I'm just burnt out on books at this point. There's
know.
definitely a book that I
This
thought you were talking about, and it's a like a short horror novella, and it is
no,
not, in fact, that book.
this is a nonfiction liberation theology book.
Very nice.
That is from a Black woman who's also disabled. So it's from a lot of different perspectives and intersectionalities. And it was really interesting. And I highly recommend it to, if you're interested in liberation theology and that kind of thing. It is definitely an easy and accessible read, but very deep and very good. So
I will have to add it to my list. Speaking of liberation theology in general, I'm reading Black liberation theology with Howard Thurman. Many of y'all know, if you've kept up with my trip since Boston, that that has been my like reading obsession. I am enjoying Meditations of the Heart, like very seriously taking one a day, reading it out loud, and trying to work through some of his writing. I also finished Metaphorical Theology by McFay, which is a well-known feminist theologian from the 70s. And so it's been really interesting to experience metaphorical theology, which is what I already do and didn't know that I do. So it's like putting terms behind what Checkpoint has become. It's really nice. So I've been enjoying reading that. I also have gotten hooked on a manga that is just coming out, which like never happens. I'm always pretty much reading on like backlog, manga, but Manga Spice Cafe sends me 3 manga every month, and one of the ones they sent me was a banger. It's Last Samurai Standing, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a battle royale type samurai manga that is so good. It's like absolutely gorgeous. It's so tense, and now I have to wait for like 8 years until it's actually done because manga released so slowly, and I hope this isn't too big of a book. I think the last one that Manga Spice Cafe sent me that I did this with was School in Time, or School Lost in Time, or something like that. But it's really nice, really pretty art. I can show it to the camera here. I just ordered the second volume, which like just came out. And so this is what it looks like, but it's really pretty art, really gorgeous style. And it's going to be, or is already on Netflix. So I guess since it's already on Netflix, maybe it's already done. Or maybe it's just like the first season, or however they want to do it. But it's very fun. I'm enjoying the drama. I'm enjoying the story. And then I am also about halfway through I Who Have Never Known Men. I still don't really know if I have anything to offer as far as what it's actually about. I tried to describe it, and I feel like every time I can't even describe what it's about. It is a story of like feminist perseverance, of like the love of women towards each other and supporting each other, and like the drama of these 39 women being trapped in a hole in the ground. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really weird. It's getting to some strange places about halfway through. Maybe I'll have more thoughts on the like complete other side of it, but it's an interesting read. And then maybe the most like novel, like not like a book novel, but novel as in like interesting book I've read in a long time, is called House Mother Normal. It is a book that I'm reading for my 1001 reads, and it is a story about dementia. And so it's the same scene told from 10 different perspectives of people that are at like a nursing home. And so it's the 10 people telling the exact same moment, and it is written like like poetry. And so every line matches up to every other person. So line 1 of person A is also going to be line 1 of person B. Line 37 of person A is also going to be line 37 of person B. And so as the dementia takes hold, as you really experience different like levels of cognition between the various people, you're going to be able to be like, what's happening in this scene? And you can flip back and see, okay, on page this, line this is what was actually happening according to one person who was like lucid. And so this other person who is not, this is their reaction. It's fascinating. Like one of the most interesting concepts of a book. And it's something that I'm like, I want to play with that. I want to try and write a book that's 10 books with different lines that match up. So super interesting.
I don't want to read it. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's a fascinating read. I've discovered that a lot with 1001 books, where they just put like books that are good is negotiable. They're weird. They're like eclectic. And I think that sometimes is for the best. Fun.
Marlena has a good point there.
Marlena,
why
how are all
aren't
these
these
amazing
books
books
being talked about?
Right. Well, the thing is, I don't know. We should talk about them more. I should talk more about the books that I'm reading, but I'm always reading them, and so I don't have time to talk about them. That's what this podcast is for. So now we have time. This is the opportunity to start talking about what we're reading. Playing, obviously, Pokemon. I'm playing so much Pokemon. I got the new Pokemon Legends ZA, of course, and I have already logged, I think, like 14 hours. Don't tell anybody that I've logged like 14 hours. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not getting any sleep, but I'm fine. That's why I'm having tea here at 2:00 because I desperately need it.
Surprising.
It's a lot of fun. Super enjoy it. I'm already really enjoying the shiny hunting. That was the thing that was my favorite about Arceus. And I just like the characters. I like the way they do the like story. It just feels, it's exactly what I want from a Pokemon game. And so I know it's not for everybody, but it's like, I'm so glad whenever Pokemon takes a swing, even slightly like this. I've heard that it's not very good on Switch 1, that it doesn't look very good, but like, that is what it is. I feel like we're always going to have people complaining about the graphics on the Switch, and I just can't be bothered. Like I don't have time to think about the graphics on the Switch. You're playing the Switch that's been around since like 2003 at this point. So what are we doing? We've got the perfect handheld console, and we got to calm down with the graphics. That being said, I have dropped Final Fantasy Tactics Chronicles of Ivalice. It was simply not good enough. I got stuck. I tried the same boss fight like 4 or 5 times. And it's just not that good. It's just not that good. The story's really good. I'm probably going to watch Prof Noctis play the entire game. But I got to say, like play style wise, I think it's pretty rough. I couldn't get behind it. That's playing. And then watching, just finished To Be Hero X. So good. Scorsese meme level masterpiece. Like it's so good. It's such a good anime from beginning to end. And I think especially the very last episode or the last 2 episodes, they're just so good. They're so good. The superpowers are so good. The characters are fantastic. The narrative and the way that it all like ties together, these random threads that it's been weaving. We have a nerdy sermon on To Be Hero X. So if you haven't, you should check out the nerdy sermon. You should also watch the show because it's just simply so good. Basic gist of the show. It's a superhero tournament where the top 10 face each other in like this tournament match to become the Hero X. And in the top 10, you the only way you get there is by your trust value, which is how much the people in the area that watch the show or whatever. It's kind of like a reality show. The people that watch you trust your superpoweredness. And so it's fascinating to see these like superheroes who are obsessed with their appearance, obsessed with their like value to the audience. It's a lot of fun. And I just enjoyed it quite a bit. Started the new Digimon as well, Beat Break, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of the anime itself, but like it's pretty fun. We're only a couple episodes in, and getting back on that Windbreaker grind, which is going places I did not expect for Windbreaker. For those of you that don't know that one, that is the one that's like the Tokyo Revengers, but like wholesome. And it's like a gang, that loves each other kind of thing. They're like, we're all bros and we support each other. And it has gone some places that I did not expect. And in fact was maybe even a little bit worried about with some things that maybe Japanese culture might have some problems with in like a sexual ethic. But they went there, and they didn't just like go there. They went there. And so I was very, very proud of them for actually like taking a solid swing. For the Japanese to take a solid swing at a sexual ethic was, I think, a pretty big deal. So a fun watch, and a very unexpected watch from this one. Let me see. We got to scroll back through the chat here because we've had some answers to what people are watching, playing, and reading. Marlena has been watching all the reality trash TV, Real Housewives, Love is Blind, Sister Wives, Bailing Out Loud, and starting a new Stardew file. Twyla tried and failed to watch Deltarune Weird Route continuation for chapter 3 and 4. Turned out the playthrough is very much missing things, just running into every wall looking for secrets cluelessly. DGC is playing Pokemon ZA, or watching a Pokemon ZA playthrough. Fate, Coraline, like the movie? You're watching through the Coraline movie? Or like, is there something a Coraline adjacent that we need to know about?
There's a book
streams
too.
And you, I was like, are you reading the book? That would also be a fun read. Long time no read. Playing Trails in the Sky first chapter, DGC, and reading Bleach manga. So I guess I was watching Coraline. Nice. A good
Nice.
one. Twilight's also playing VR Chat. Had a new Logic Puzzle Escape Room drop, which is very fun.
Nate, I hate to point out that I didn't hear that you've been watching Wicked yet.
I have not yet checked out Wicked. I'm not there yet. I don't know when. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know when. I would love to. Maybe.
I'm just going to keep bugging you.
I would sort of love to watch it. Welcome into Drew. Also, I see Drew hopped in the chat. Do let us know what you are watching, playing, and reading.
Welcome
I think
in.
everything else but this has just been kind of discussion. Welcome in, Vanna. Let us know what you have been watching, playing, and reading. Love to hear what you are getting up to. And yeah, it's not that I couldn't get behind Tactics. All right. I logged like 20 hours into that game. So I'm saying that I have played Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm saying it's not very good as far as the like balancing. I think it's a really poorly balanced game. I think they have a lot that they need to work on, and they're not going to because they made this game 20 years ago. Right. Like, or that it's done. It's over and done with. They've done what they're going to do. And I just think that I would always, so far, I mean, I might go back and finish it, but like where I'm at right now, Fire Emblem is such a better tactics experience. I know that Final Fantasy Tactics paved the way, but I cannot be convinced that we don't have a better experience nowadays with Fire Emblem. So yeah, and I still need to play Duck Detective, you guys. It's the 19th. I have like 12 more days, and I haven't played Duck Detective. How am I going to fit in the time?
I haven't played it yet either.
I played like 10, 15 minutes here or there. Since it's such a short game, you can kind of do that and still finish it in a month. It's cute. It's funny. I'm all about it because I'm a camper. Like, I love camping, and so I think it's kind of awesome. But then my hyperfixation was or my hyperfocus was like, no, the only thing you can play right now is Little Rocket Lab. And so I've been playing that for like 4 days.
2 to 3 hours till I'll make it. I don't know.
I haven't read the book, but I've heard that it's different and very good. And I've never seen like the musical on Broadway, but I am also really excited for part 2 of Wicked.
And Drew, not watching, playing, reading much of anything, busy with life and work things. Did finish season 13 of Drag Race last night, though. Well, there you go. That's definitely something. Definitely counts. Okay, well, let's get in with the bulk of the show, and we're going to talk about the ESA. So for those of you that are not familiar, every year the ESA puts out a Power of Play global video games report. If you want to go in and study more about like their process or how they went about this, you are welcome to do so. We're not going to dwell on that too much for now, beyond just saying this is a survey that took place worldwide. About 25,000 people, give or take, were surveyed into this. So it is a pretty substantive, kind of respondent base here. And they try to get some information of like, what is it looking like in the video game world right now? What is the current like statistical normative experience between 21 different countries, 6 continents, and as many people as they can get. So the actual places that they got respondents from: Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Sweden, Poland, China, India, Japan, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, United Arab Emirates, Canada, Quebec, Mexico, United States, Brazil, and Australia. So that is the various areas, and all of them are about the same portion of people. They all kind of vary anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500, the amount of respondents that they have. The ESA being the folks who used to put on E3 when that was a thing, indeed. So if you're curious about what the ESA is about, or the Power of Play report, any of that information can be found on their website, where you can also download the full report, which is very impressive and nice to look at. But some quick coming at you statistics here are the global video game player normative profile is on average 41 years old. So we've always had this misconception that gamers are young, that gamers are like children, that they are still in their school age years. Not the case. The average age of gamers is 41 nowadays. That being said, the bulk of the age is between 25 to 34. So even though it averages out to 41, we can still see the biggest bloat in the 25 to 34 range. And then we continue to see the gender gap being kind of shrunken. So it's always been kind of close to 50-50, and it varies back and forth between who is in the lead at this particular time. So currently, among a male-female binary, we've got 51% male, 48% female, with 1% of respondents selecting non-binary or preferring not to say. That is the quick numerical expectations, but then we also have the stated top 3 reasons that they play video games. So out of all these respondents, I'm assuming they had a list of things they could say that games did for them. These are the top 3. Number 1 is to have fun. Number 2 is for stress relief and relaxation. And number 3 is to keep my mind sharp and exercise my brain, which I found all 3 of those to be pretty true about me and pretty accurate to my experience of why I play video games. And then playing with others, there's a daily and weekly schema here. So daily, 17% play games with other people in person, 22% play with other people that you know in real life online, 25% play with people I have not met in real life online, and 59% play on their own. And then on a weekly basis, 28% play with other people in person, 30% play with people that they know online, 30% play with those they do not know in real life online, and 29% play on their own. So an interesting spread. It looks like we have people that do probably play on a weekly basis with others that may not play on a daily basis with others. So they might have a Saturday game night with their college friends, or that may be just me speaking out of my own experience and bias. But that could be the vibe that we're going for here. And then broadly speaking, the preferred device, 55% are mobile. That's huge. That's so surprising. 21% computer or laptop, 21% game console or handheld, 2% VR, 1% other designated game hardware, which I don't know exactly what that means. That's people that emulate. They're all playing ROMs. That's 1% of people playing ROMs somewhere. So I mean, I've always heard that mobile is taking over, but it is fascinating to really see 55% mobile. And of course, this is just favorite device. So it's not only device I play on or only device I have. This is just favorite, which I think actually makes the number more interesting. I play mobile games, but I would never call it my favorite device. So I think that's the shocking response, in my opinion.
Well, and I think the industry is really responding to that in a way that is kind of interesting. The broader industry. I recently bought a Backbone Pro, which you just clip your phone into, and it makes Apple Arcade so much easier. I can play Dreamlight Valley on my phone. I'm one of the I'm an elder gamer, but I'm according to statistics, I'm not an elder gamer yet. But I didn't realize I could play those kinds of games on my phone. Like I'm that kind of gamer. And so that I don't know, getting that backbone, like, and starting to do more cloud gaming really changed a lot of stuff. And how I like game, basically. And some of that is a function of like there's a main TV in the house and my roommate claims it like 3 days out of the week for football. So I had to figure out another way to like play my Xbox games, right? So yeah, it's the mobile gaming is really interesting. And I think the other interesting thing that you mentioned was the third main reason for gaming was keeping your mind sharp. And I think that also speaks to, while we have like a really big pocket of gamers in the 25 to 35 range, I think you said, the average age being 41 suggests that there's another large pocket above 41, right? That kind of like skews it a little bit higher in this generation, that it's not so much like boomer generation, but like you reach your 50s, 60s, 70s, and you start thinking more about mental acuity and how to keep your mind sharp and how to keep your brain engaged and things like that. And so I think that that third reasoning really speaks to the reasons why there might be an average age that's a little bit higher than the main pocket you might see.
Well, and that's, I mean, that's why they still make Just Dance, right? Is like not mental acuity necessarily, but literal, just like low impact physical
exercise.
And so they still make the Wii version of Just Dance, so that all the Wiis that were donated to nursing homes can keep the folks that are going to be using them dancing, which I think is so charming and so exactly what I want games to be.
Yeah. Sure. And I think I saw somewhere that Italy, the like average age of gamers was like 50, something like that. That was really shocking to me. Like I don't know. It was, yeah, that's all I got for that.
Yeah, we won't go country by country, but the report does. So if anybody is interested in learning more about like one particular country, you certainly can. We'll look at the US because that just makes sense for where we are located. But they do offer a little bit of a look at each of those. I will say an interesting point Twyla did drop there in the chat of that the phone being 55% the preference could be because of a like a global reach, a global difference, because some areas have easier access to mobile than not mobile. And that's always what I've been told, but at least numerically, that isn't really what we see. They still are like around 50, but it's not like there are really many countries that have big spikes. Some of them spike up to like 60%, and I think Egypt maybe goes up to like 62% or something. But by and large, all the countries, US included, are all right at that like 50 to 55% marker. So I've always heard that as well. I've also always heard that about like women are more often on mobile, and so I don't know if that's always necessarily the case. It does appear to be the case by the data here. So it's one of those things like we just don't really know until we can make many assumptions, but at the very least, like it seems to skew based off of the data in this report that it is more the case that female presenting people prefer mobile, whereas than it being a global difference of access to mobile. That being said, the next section we'll look at here is the kind of spotlight on that gender divide. So favorite devices for male to female, 46% male mobile, 27% computer, 27% console, whereas with female you've got 64% mobile. So there you go. There's your spike, right? That's the big jump up. And then you will also find it really funny in preferred genres. These stereotypes also hold true. 62% female are on puzzlers, playing through the cookie clicker, the dragging, the match threes, whereas 53% of males are playing action games. Now, I do think I'm at least glad to see that it's action instead of shooter taking the number one spot. I will take that personally. But I do think that is an interesting thing to see. I'm also really fascinated by seeing some of the numbers like racing and vehicle simulation being 31% of a preferred genre. Like that is, that's crazy to me. Somebody plays these games. They're very popular for a reason, but like I didn't realize maybe it was such a high percentage. As far as the top 3 reasons, there was no real schism between gender. They were pretty much the same. Both men and women play to have fun, for stress relief, to keep their mind sharp. Age-based, you see kind of a similar skew, actually. So you're going to have 61% of the older generation on mobile, making that spike. Same 60% is going to be doing puzzles. And then on the younger side, 50% are mobile, 57% are action. And so we have these very similar sways going back and forth. I think the really funny ones for me are, I don't know why the older generation is not interested in fighting and they really don't want to play role-playing games, which I think is like, what's going on there? Like, y'all invented D&D. What are you doing? Come on, play some RPGs.
Well, okay, when you say older generation, do you mean like
this is 55
silent and boomer? 55 and older? Over. So I have a theory that I literally just came up with. They don't want to fight and they don't want to role play because that means talking about well, they don't want to role play because it means talking about their feelings.
It could be.
In a lot of cases, that generation was told to just sort of like sit down and shut up and your feelings don't matter. And so role play, if not done carefully in that kind of like temperament, with that kind of temperament, it can be really difficult and can be really scary and really hard. As for the fighting, I think there's also a lot of unspoken trauma from things like the Korean War and the Vietnam War that we don't talk about. And we as a society don't address because like, our World War II vets are dying out. The next big conflict would be the Korean police action, the Korean War, and then Vietnam. And so we're starting to see these elders and these elder gamers not want to engage in something that could be potentially triggering.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And shooter is also pretty low. It seems according to the data that the older generation is playing puzzler games and then skill and chance games. So, take that for what you will as well. Go ahead, Lizzie.
I think of like, my mom doesn't consider herself a gamer, but she definitely has like Sudoku and Solitaire and all that on her phone. And she'll play Bejeweled or something. And I'm like, Mom, you're a gamer. It's fine. But she like will be like, I don't play video games, as she sits there and plays Solitaire for 3 hours, right? While she's watching TV. So I think things like that also we don't think about as well. I don't know. That's just... And also, she's the first person, I'm speaking a lot about her right now, to be like, I don't have time to like play those other games. And so like role-playing games, you might have to like... That's a good point.
Those are long games.
They're long games. You can't just like... Usually you can't just like half pay attention to them. Like, you have to actually like engage. And so I think playing more idle games might also just be easier while also helping keeping your brain sharp as well.
Super fair. Super good point. So continuing looking at the age gap, we do see a pretty big divide with why people play. And so I think that kind of goes to what you're saying there, Lizzie, of like, there's just a different reason, a different purpose behind it. And so for instance, 55 and older, only 26% play with others online at all. 16% play with others in person. So they're just not getting together and playing games. That's not a part of the culture. And then again, you're going to see a bigger gap of like, playing video games with people made me feel less isolated and lonely. Like one of those top 3 reasons, right? 73% the younger, 48% the older. So like that's a, what is that? A 25-point gap. So like that's a really big gap that you're seeing between those two. Whereas the male to female gender divide was like 2 to 4% at most in their separation. And that continues down the line of like met a good friend, stay connected, have positive experiences. Always the older folks are going to be like, no, that's not why I play games. So let's keep moving through this. You can look at, again, the report yourself, and it'll be linked on our Discord somewhere. They give an information about how it connects people. And so it does this really interesting thing of like, who do we play with? Are we playing with friends? Are we playing with our kids? Are we playing with family members? Are we playing with siblings? Are we playing with parents or grandparents? And so that was a really interesting like data skew to see who are people actually playing their games with? Where are they playing them online? With friends or with other people online. They did a whole section for those that are in like gaming careers or those that are interested in gaming careers. They asked questions particularly about like, how much do you think video games have impacted your professional education or have influenced directly your career path? I don't want to dwell on it, but I'll just call out really fascinatingly that Nigeria out the wazoo, like 76% of responders in Nigeria were like, I am a better employee because of this. So I think that's a really interesting like boost in that regard. And then real quickly, we'll take a look at the US just to see if there's anything worth drawing out in this report. The overall age of players skews a little bit older in the US. So we're going to have like 22% 65 and older. Whereas if you recall earlier from the global one, it was like the bulk was in 25 to 34. So there's a 6% gap between those two. And our player gender is very much 1-for-1, 48 to 52%. We are still 54% mobile, 22% computer, 21% game console, 2% VR. We really like puzzlers. So I think that could also go to the reason why our older age gap is going to be the biggest, leading directly to puzzles, whereas action being number 2 and then skill and chance being the next one. Everywhere else we kind of stack up on average. We do have an interesting, I think whenever I think about the US and I think about gaming, I think about us being a hub. Like I think about California being a hub for game creation, Texas being a hub for game creation. And despite that, we are only 38% of folks saying that it influenced their career or educational path. So maybe it's just that we are such a melting pot of careers, or maybe the results just skewed for some reason, but I found it really interesting that we're 5% the global and like literally half of what Nigeria says. Like, I just think that's interesting. I don't know why that is necessarily, but it's really intriguing. And then I will draw out the final thing is they give away their insights. So from their Power Play report, what they have gleaned, number 1, playing video games can positively affect mental health and well-being. We fully agree with that here at Checkpoint, like 2 thumbs ups. That's exactly what we're here for, is that we see the like benefits of video games. Number 2, video games can enhance learning. I think this was an interesting thing for them to draw out. But again, this comes from that factor of affecting our careers. Number 3, playing video games can provide valuable job skills, although apparently not in the US, but everywhere else seems to think so. And then number 4, that video games are a powerful training tool. So interesting work being done. I almost think that's almost leaning really heavily into what do video games matter? Like, I think that's the question that the ESA is wanting to ask here is like, okay, what is it that video games are actually doing for us beyond just being fun? And I think that's an interesting question for us to ask. Okay. That's the ESA and the Power of Play report, again, that I will link to. And I know I'm kind of rushing through the end of that there, but we are already running out of time. Wizen, did you want to bring up your findings there?
I poked around a little bit on the website, and the accessibility initiative is really interesting to me. It's an initiative where they put accessibility tags on, I believe they said it's available across Xbox experiences now. Mm-hmm. Is that what it said?
Yeah,
all digital Xbox experiences. Yeah, and it's things like clear text in menus, control panels, and settings is a reasonable size, or you can adjust the contrast. Large and clear subtitles are some of the tags. Playable without motion controls, playable without rapid button presses. These are all tags that Xbox games now have on them that allows people with disabilities to say, oh, this is a game that I could more easily play because I don't have to like push a button really fast. And I'm not able to do that because of some physical limitation or something like that. And so I find this really interesting. And then the other thing I found that kind of plays into this as well is they did a survey on US veterans. And like 85% of all of the respondents were like, this is good for my health. It's great for my mental well-being. It's helped me get through really difficult times. And this is both active and veteran military service folks. And so I think the importance of play in healing is a little bit overlooked in this report, in that there's a lot of healing that can happen when we play, and in a digital global world, video games is a great way to do that. And so it connects you to people. It, all these different things. It takes your mind off the stress. It allows you to kind of escape into a reality that, and granted, we do need to like be conscious of veering too far into escaping reality. But I think the power of play and healing is really important. And I think that's kind of why I was so weepy with the book this morning too. Is that there was just this notion of, part of like half the book was the author just telling stories about her family and how much joy and laughter and pain and sorrow they all experienced together as a family. And it, the power of play towards the end of that book, and how they utilized play and joy and laughter to sort of recognize the sorrows and not just push them to the side, but really process and get through them, was really important. So
very good.
Yeah,
thank you for drawing that out. That's important for us to continue to consider. And then, as Twyla did mention in the chat there as well, there's kind of a holding both things in truth at once. Like I mentioned a little bit about their kind of skewing towards professional ventures and like jobs and that kind of stuff. A reminder from Twyla that the ESA are a lobbying body as well for the industry. So bear that in mind. But then we can hear what Wizen is saying as well, and seeing the good work being done in like studying accessibility, studying mental health, and seeing how these things can bear good benefits, and how it's important, especially in the research kind of branch of the world, that both of these things are being done. So very cool. Check that out. Check that report out. Let us know if you have any other thoughts about it. I tell you what, I know where I will link it, and that's over on our Discord in the episode chat. So we now have a Checkpoint Church podcast forum. This episode will be linked in that forum, and you can hang out in there and talk about the ESA. So there you go. We're going to move now into a quick little ad for the Checkbox. Folks, did you know that we ship communion elements to your door once a month? And if you would like to sign up to get your Checkbox, which comes with not only communion elements, but also snacks and typically some kind of like goodie or toy, some kind of coloring sheet with crayons, Legos, we always have all these different fun things within each Checkbox, and we would love to ship that to your door absolutely for free. !mana in the chat over on Twitch, or you can go to bit.ly/mana mingle, find your link there, and we would love for you to go there, sign up for your Checkbox. We do have an option for a premium tier, so if you would like to either help us with shipping, that's $5, or if you want to upgrade your box to a premium box, that is $25. It'll come with one extra goodie, as well as the joy in your heart of knowing that you are helping a ministry like Checkpoint Church thrive. So be a part of the Checkbox, sign up there, get those communion elements as Wizen is showing us, and we would appreciate your support of this ministry, and of course, your support of what we are doing with the digital world. Okay, with that, we're going to move really quickly into the past week has been Next Fest, which is a Steam event that happens 3 times a year, where for a week, Steam puts up thousands upon thousands of free demo games. Sometimes there are a lot of bangers, sometimes there are a lot of misses, but what it ultimately comes down to is it is an incredible opportunity for indie game developers to get their game out there, to get some marketing done, to get on some streams, to have the opportunity to show their work and to have it be seen. At Checkpoint, we have played with these Next Fest demos for years now, and this time we decided to add on a little extra spice, and we linked it to our Indiegogo campaign, and we did a week-long Checkfest charity funding stream. And so we were raising funds for Checkpoint throughout the week, playing through so many demos. We played through like an exorbitant amount of demos, which was an absolute blast. I will go through my ones that you should get on your radar, but I wanted to throw it to Lizzie or to Wizen. If y'all got to play any demos or hop in any streams, anything that you would like to call out from this.
Can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember the name of all of the ones that we played, so why don't you
If it was on our stream,
list?
I can at least try to remember for you.
The puppy one.
My Little Puppy.
My Little Puppy was so good. I was like, why am I crying in the club? I want to play that real bad.
Yeah, it was very good.
I wanted to see Power Wash Simulator 2, and that's like the one section of stream I missed all week.
Oh, no.
Me too.
I guess
it was not very good. I was not in it. I played it as best as I could, but I wasn't very entertaining. So it was really just me staring at a screen for like 30 minutes.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's kind of what Power Wash Simulator is, though.
True. Maybe that was my problem, is I wanted to make it entertaining and I couldn't. I failed in my effort.
Fair.
I think that's where the job skills comes in, is these hyper realistic simulators that I play.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of, there was a couple others that were really
Arky
cool.
Malarkey. That was a fun game too to watch.
Malarkey.
Arky Malarkey.
I
You only got to watch Pastor Nate flip dice for 20 minutes, Marlena.
Look, I got better at that game, okay? I learned that game wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. So that was Incredicer, which was our very first game I think we played. And it was flipping dice and you get points. And so it was like an idler game. And the way they had it, so on the sidebar, you had upgrades and shop. And it was like skill tree, upgrades, and shop underneath it. And so I thought that upgrades and shop were the skill tree. It wasn't obvious that skill tree was a button. And so I went through all the upgrades and all the shop. I did all of them doing $1 at a time because I couldn't figure out how to do anything beyond $1. And so my wrist was hurting because I was having to flip so many dice. And then I booted up because I was like, I'm going to understand this game. And so I booted up the next day and skill tree was like, I guess I'll click this. Let's see if it's a button. Sure enough, it was. It opens up this expansive menu, like Final Fantasy X level, just skills going everywhere. So many things you can unlock. And all of a sudden it was like a dramatic increase in every imaginable way. So it wound up getting a good bit better and was a good addicting, nice. Check your brain at the door type game, but
Elatro
yes.
What was the climbing one?
Cairn.
The one where it was super brutal when you fell, but it was great when you were climbing.
Yeah, somebody dropped into our YouTube channel whenever I posted that VOD, and they were like, I don't know if they maybe played the game a lot or if they were one of the devs, but they jumped in and they were like, really glad that she didn't scream an expletive, because normally she does whenever she falls or whenever she's her joints are getting stress on them. She's like, normally she screams expletives. So that was very funny. I guess we lucked out there, but
all right.
It's pretty brutal. It's pretty insane. Funny. This is a game where you're literally controlling each limb of her body as she is climbing up this rock face. And it's challenging in some good ways. Whenever her joints get stress on them, they start to tremble back and forth, and eventually she'll give out and fall. And when she falls, she falls. Like your legs are wrapped up in these bandages, and they just turn red. They are just beat red, and you're like, "Oh boy!" I sure did fall, and she's screaming, and it was very unexpected for a game that
It was
otherwise
brutal.
felt very cartoony, almost like Borderlands type
And like,
art. So yeah,
and like cozy
yeah,
game vibes, and then suddenly there's just like this brutal like fall
yeah, just like Wilhelm level
damage.
scream. It was
Oh.
insane.
I must have missed that one. That sounds
Yeah,
funny.
it was great because I liked it because I was on a rock climbing team in high school, which is like a very Colorado thing to say. I feel like it's a very mountain thing to say, and it kind of took me back to like climbing competition days, and it was kind of fun. So it was a little nostalgic.
My top 3. So I think if I had to pick 3, we wound up playing something like 20 demo games over the course of the week. And my top 3 games were, I think the most one that I like expected to be good as soon as I saw it was Star Sand Island. And so this is the cozy farming sim game, 3D modeled, really impressive looking. Kind of, if you liked Palia, it feels a lot like Palia looked at first. Maybe a little bit less fantastic. Like I think Palia got some like fantasy elements thrown in that maybe took me out of it a little bit, whereas this one feels very like grounded in reality. It reminded me of Harvest Moon in a lot of really good ways, with some like fantasy life elements of the job system. I want to play more. I cannot wait to play more. I'm so excited to get back into it. I wish I had all the time in the day, but you know, these shiny Pokemon aren't going to hunt themselves. So that one will have to wait, but I was very curious about it. The second one that you have to play is Escape from Ever After. If you like Paper Mario, then this is the type of game for you. It is very clearly inspired by Paper Mario. There have been a lot of Paper Mario inspired games that have come out over the years. Of all of them, this is the one I think that has been my favorite, at least from the demo. We'll see if the story keeps going there, but the story felt like really well written. The jokes actually like landed. They weren't just cheesy. They were like actually pretty good jokes. And it just felt like an all around good time with good characters. It is set in like a storybook land. So you are a part of a company that goes into storybooks to recruit various characters to your company. And so that is the gist of the idea from this one. And in particular, you are being sent into a Cthulhu-esque book this time. So
gotta eat the moon.
Yeah. So that is number 1. My number 1 game that came out of nowhere that I was not expecting to be as fun or as good as it was Skate Story. Skate Story. I'm not a skater. I don't have like any skater parts of my personality. But this game was so unexpectedly good. It is a like RPG skater game. So it's a narrative driven skating game where you are this apparently demon who decides to sell or place a bet or do something in order to go and eat the moon. You want to eat the moon, and don't ask why. You just want to eat the moon. And so you take on the mirror like part of yourself. Your body looks entirely like mirrors, and you have to skate to get where you need to go. And you end up meeting these like really wacky characters along the way, kind of like irreverent in the same way that oh gosh, what was the name of that game? I can't remember, but I'll try to remember and put it over in the Discord on the link whenever I find it, because I will remember the name of this game. But it was very irreverent in like the wacky characters, the like larger than life kind of random characters out of nowhere. But the actual skating felt so good, and the vibes felt so good, and the music was absolutely like 10 out of 10 bangers.
It really was.
I can't think of anything I didn't
That
like
was
about
a good
it.
one.
If you liked the game Sayonara Wild Hearts, which was a very good game that came out a couple years ago, if you didn't play Sayonara, you should. But this reminded me of Sayonara Wild Hearts, but the skater version of it. So I will probably be checking this one out. I've added it to my wish list because I just really enjoyed the vibes and I want to know more about it, even though I'm not really normally that type of guy. But I think it will be. DGC says, I know that there's Bug Fables. Didn't know there were other games inspired by Paper Mario. There are indeed. I will try to think about more of them, but like, yes, there are tons, even if it's just aesthetics. There are plenty out there. So this actually inspired a question over on our Discord. So over on our Discord server, discord.gg/checkpointchurch, we ask questions every weekday. And our Monday question was about demo games. Since we were going to be playing demo games for the next 5 days, I was like, I want to know, what does everybody think about demo games? And so I asked it over in the Discord server. We had a bunch of answers. These are some of them. DGC responded, never used demo discs, but have a ton of memories playing demos in stores, especially during the mid 2010s. I responded with a similar feeling there. I also remember a lot of demos in stores, in particular playing, this was not the 2010s, which made me feel real old, playing it Super Mario Sunshine at the GameCube kiosk at the Kmart in particular, which those are three items that make me feel old.
Yeah.
Sunshine, Kmart, and
Oh
GameCube.
no.
I'm ancient, apparently.
Kmart.
Yeah, Twyla
Oh,
remembers
no.
demo discs for the PS1, Xbox, and PC.
Like 2 of those things not exist anymore.
Look, technically you can still get a GameCube. You can't go to a Kmart anymore.
That's
I don't
true.
think
You can't
there's
go
no
to a
one
Kmart.
last Kmart like there is one last Blockbuster or whatever.
And I can't talk. I'm older than you. So
it made me feel real old, but look, it is what it is. Ransom dropped. Used to have a blast with the Mac Addict CDs back in the day. Favorite demo disc was a compilation of shareware titles from Ambrosia Software. So that really has taken a hardcore PC. Jara recalled getting demo discs in cereal boxes and in comic magazines. I think I can recall a couple of those. I never did any of the fun cereal box ones, though. My parents were like anti-cereal. They were not big on the cereal campaign. So yeah, we didn't do much of that. Let's see. Aaron says main experience with demos was in-store demos that you saw in stores while they still had stations. I think Twyla also dropped a picture of like the McDonald's kiosks of demo games as well. Brimstar says, remember demo CDs packaged with magazines, maybe even an occasional floppy. Yeah, I definitely had a floppy disk of some learning games. I don't know if they were demos, but I remember in particular one where you were Spider-Man and there were the Hobgoblin was after you and there were windows and you had to solve the equation and then jump to the window with the proper answer on it. And you had to try to get up to the top of the building so that you could take on Hobgoblin. It was a good time. It was fun times. Sierra making us feel old.
I definitely
says,
had
go ahead.
I definitely had the Wishbone game. And my favorite game in the Wishbone game, it was a computer game. And my favorite one was where you had to get through the maze that had like Frankenstein and Dracula and all the literary monsters in it. Yeah, that was my favorite one when I was real little. Fun. I don't know if that was a demo or like a full-on game, though. It might have just been a demo.
Yeah. Sierra and Splash made us feel old by both saying they've only played game demos digitally, free mobile games on Kindle, that kind of stuff. Only digital storefront folks. So yeah,
ouch.
Those youngins never played demos. But I loved them. I remember in particular, there was the GameCube, again, I don't know why it always comes back to GameCube, but the GameCube copy of one of the Legend of Zelda games. It was like the Legend of Zelda Masters collection or something, and it came with a demo disc of something. I can't remember what it was, but that was a fun time. So Wizen, you said Wishbone. Lizzie, do you have demo gaming experiences?
I do. So I remember some of the cereal box games, even though I always played them at other friends' houses. Like they had like a Captain Crunch, like almost virtual pet kind of thing that was a lot of fun. And I remember. Okay, this is also, it's not a disc. I apologize. But I remember Honeycombs had a game that you had to get like from the inside of your box. You had to get a code to play that online as well. The demo that I've liked recently, which they took right before Next Fest, was the sledding game demo. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's literally you're at a lodge and there's like a ski lift and you can go sledding down a bunch of different slopes. And like right now there was a frog, a bear, and a penguin. And you could also make s'mores and like hot cocoa. I think there was gambling somewhere, fishing. It was wild. It was a lot like web fishing and it was a lot of fun, but it was just a little demo. And I'm sad that it's over, but.
Every time you say sledding game, I think of Ski Free, which was a PC game where you're skiing down a mountain and like a Yeti comes out from behind a tree and chases you. And it's super like ASCII art. It's like old school art. So
there is a Yeti. If you go outside of the map, there was a Yeti that would like punt you back to the lodge. You'd go flying.
Well, I would love a ski-free revival. I think we need ski-free back in our lives. That's a childhood memory that for sure has like remained in my brain. The Yeti. Yeah, the Yeti was so scary. It would come out of nowhere behind trees, and it was just like definitely just like pixels on a screen. You could totally see where the Yeti was, but you're paying so much attention going down that hill. The jump scare.
It's kind of what happens to you. You hear like the thuds of the Yeti coming after you, and you're like, oh no. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. We'll have to ask Sierra about games on Kindle. I can also say I don't think I've ever played a game on my Kindle. I guess maybe I've always had the Kindle Paperwhite.
I played, my dad had us on computers when we were probably way too young. But as I got older, I got a Kindle Fire or something, and I played games on that all the time, but that was like middle school to high school area. But I will always prefer PC. So
that's fun. All right, well, that's our demo game experience as well. And that's also a little look at the kind of conversations that we have over in the Discord server. So we ask a question like that every weekday, and we'd love to have you there in the chat, participating with us and having that conversation, talking to us about what your demo experience might have been as a child. It's always a good conversation to come out of that. With that, we're going to start wrapping this episode up with our question that we are trying to end all of these podcast episodes with, which we're trying to make it a thing. We're trying to make it a verb. Checkpoint. To checkpoint is to do something online that betters yourself, something that you do through digital mediated means to live your life in a meaningful and impactful way. So how did you checkpoint this week? I can start while you think, Lizzie and Wizen. And then whenever I stop, you just jump in with whoever's got one. But do let us know in the chat as well. How have you checkpointed this week? I have a like ritual every time a new Pokemon game comes out where I will be just absolutely inundated with Austin John Plays videos on YouTube, who is a Pokemon YouTuber, as well as a bunch of other things, but that's like what he's known for. And sure enough, like it's like totally came back. Like he's already posting videos. I'm back in the chat. I'm back commenting with folks. I see the same names. He's the same as he's always been, doing the same types of videos. And like, it just feels really nostalgic is like the best way I can describe it, because it's something that I have done enough times that only happens as often as it does. So it feels like a little event. It feels like a holiday that I'm going back and seeing these people that I have spent time with before. And now I am doing it again with the new game. So I have like a community that I return to in a meaningful way. And that is how I have checkpointed this week.
I don't know. It's been a little bit since I've logged on, but I've checkpointed in Palia a little bit. I started playing on that, which is like my first foray really into like MMO style stuff. But I think that was a little long ago. But this week, I would say took care of my little nephew this morning, and we had a lot of Dinosaur Train while
Very
I
nice.
read. But he's, we're learning about checking in on our bodies and what our bodies need and stuff like that. He's 2, so we're still doing a little potty training and that kind of thing, and helping him kind of figure out how he works as a human and like how to be a people is kind of fun.
Don't we all need more of that?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
For sure. I think I checkpointed by just being on the streams. I used to be really active on Twitch, and I've kind of missed it, and in some ways kind of been like, oh, it's too much. But just hopping in the checkpoint streams has helped me, I guess, feel a little bit more connected to what has brought me a lot of comfort in the past. So yeah.
Love that. In the chat, we also have Marlena checkpointed by getting back on Finch, the little bird self-care app. That's really wonderful. And Twyla has met a goal of time recovering from COVID in order to get back on the full body tracking in VR to do some dancing and some hangouts after they haven't been able to do that for a little while. DGC has checkpointed by helping out over on the Discord server, helping host the anime club, watching anime every Tuesday night, trying to hop in some CheckFest streams, hanging out at lunch, doing a book study, and then hopping on here for the podcast. So DGC's had a big week of a lot of checkpoint, as I think many of us have, especially those that have been at a ton of streams. So slower week.
Have the go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
We had the anti-book study as well, and that was really good to check in with people. It's been a while, but to work on that and to work with others was really nice.
Do you want to take a second to say more about what that is for anybody that's curious?
Yeah. I can talk a little bit about it. All right. Unless you want to. I don't want to step on toes. Okay. So the anti-book study is a book study that you don't need to read the book for if you don't want to. If you just want to come to the sessions that we have every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, between now and November 16th, I believe, we will, or it's either the 13th or the 16th, whichever one's a Thursday. We'll be talking about the book Wesleyan Vitality by Ashley Bogan. She is really invested in talking about the history of the United Methodist Church and John Wesley in particular. So we talked a little bit about his time in Bristol, where he got really inspired by field preaching. And we focused really on what that meant for him this week. And so, yeah.
Very good. Very, very good. And of course, you could checkpoint tonight with us at Mana and Mingle, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We will hang out for an hour, and then at the hour mark, we will observe communion together. So you can bring something juice-like, something bread-like, or if you got the checkbox, you can bring your elements that were brought to you there. And we'd love to have you be a part of that and learn what it means to checkpoint, or a quick call to action. Let us know down in the comments down below this video. How did you checkpoint this week? I would love to hear what you've been getting into. How have you been living meaningfully online? This is what this is about, is living out our lives in meaningful ways through digitally mediated means. That's a lot of checkpoints ethos. And so we want to embody that in some kind of way, shape, and form. And with that, we're going to start wrapping this one up with a quick goodbye. So thank you to Lizzie. Thank you to Wizen Lemur. Appreciate y'all being on the podcast this week. Come and hang out with us anytime. I know that both Lizzie and Wizen are around the Discord a lot of the time. So you can find either one of them in either of the spaces pretty regularly. And we're going to end this one, as we always do, with our 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. Whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church, hate God, hate church, no matter what, we still believe these 3 things to be true about you. Number 1, that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here. Number 3, that you, yes, you matter. You're a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. All right, folks. Thanks so much for being here for the Checkpoint Church podcast. We did not go an hour and a half.
Hooray!
We went like an hour and 5 minutes. I will take that. I will take that. By the time that I edit out the uhs and the ums, we will be at like an hour, if not under an hour. So we did it. Proud of us. Great work. We're going to go offline now. Hey, chat, thank you for being here. Marlena, DGC, Twyla, Vanna, Drew, all the folks that were able to join us. We appreciate you being there as well. Have a wonderful rest of your days, and hopefully catch you